Example 1F, solve the quadratic equation 4x times the quantity 2x plus 3, quantity closed, equals 36. Now note, on the left side we have a product, but unfortunately on the right side we do not have 0. Therefore, before we go on, we first have to get 0 on the right side. Let's do that. That means we're going to subtract 36 from both sides. We begin by rewriting our equation, 4x times the quantity 2x plus 3. We're subtracting 36 from both sides, so I'm simply going to subtract 36 from the left, and that's going to leave me with 0 on the right side. We no longer have a product on the left side. So we have to simplify this side so that we can then take that resulting polynomial and factor it into a product. So we have to apply the distributive property, and we need to multiply 4x times 2x and 4x times 3. Here we go, 4x times 2x, that gives us 8x squared. 4x times 3, that gives us plus 12x. Then minus 36 equals 0. We want to factor this polynomial. Observe that we can take a common factor out from each term before we actually go on to factor farther. What number goes into 8, 12, and 36? Well, the biggest number that I can think of would be 4. So let's take out the common factor of 4 from each of these terms. That leaves us in the parentheses with 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. And that's all equal to 0. Perfect. We now continue factoring this polynomial. So we have a 4 in the front, and we now have the trinomial 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. And that factors as the following. 2x minus 3 times x plus 3. We have our product on the left side. We have our 0 on the right side. We apply the 0 factor principle, which tells us each factor on the left is equal to 0, or could be equal to 0. So we set 4 equal to 0. We set 2x minus 3 equal to 0. And we set x plus 3 equals 0. Doing so, we will get the solutions to this equation. Now, as before in the previous example, we had a coefficient, a constant sitting in front. 4 can never be 0, so we skip and disregard the number 4 factor. Let's move on then to 2x minus 3. Solve for x. That means we need to add 3 to both sides. That gives us 2x equals 3. Divide by 2. That tells us that x equals 3 halves is a solution which, when substituted into our original equation, makes it true. There's also one more answer, and that comes from the factor x plus 3 equals 0. To solve for x here, we subtract 3 on both sides. So that tells us x equals negative 3 is another solution to this quadratic equation. Writing these as a solution set, the answers are negative 3 and 3 halves. I think this is a good time to make one comment because we finished doing all our examples. I don't know if you noticed, but every time we solved these quadratic equations, we obtained not just one, but 2 answers. This is going to happen. Whenever you solve a quadratic equation, you're going to obtain 2 answers. Now, they might not be unique, meaning you might have the same answer written twice, but quadratic equations yield 2 answers.